Welcome back to the Breakfast with Tedflix podcast. Today we're ranking the top 5 best moments of House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 7, The Red Sowing. So we're going to get going right on into this. Coming in at our number 5 spot, I got to give it to the opening scene with Adam and Rhaenyra. Right off the bat, we get this cool little Western showdown type deal. They both walk over to each other and they're not saying a word. And then Syrax is like roaring, and then Rhaenyra goes right in after Syrax and is like, hey, you got a dragon. It's kind of technically mine. And he's like, hey, it was not a part of my plan. He picked me. So she asks, what do you want? And he's like, honestly, I just want to serve you. Teach me how to ride this dragon and I'm all yours. And then Rhaenyra and Syrax kind of crawl towards Sea Smoke and Adam to get a little bit of a closer look. And this guy's like, yeah, I may be lowborn, but if I'm being called to do greater things, who am I to refuse it? Then she tells him to stand up. And she's like, okay, who's your mommy? Who's your daddy? Are they Targaryens? What's going on? And he's like, my mom was a shipwright. My dad is secretly Corlys, but I'm not going to reveal that. And so he just says, my dad is of no consequence, which is interesting. So she's like, are you sure there wasn't any Targaryen blood in you somewhere? And he's like, no, we don't keep a record of that kind of stuff. Like, I'm just a lowborn. I'm Adam of Hull. She's like, well, okay, Adam of Hull. Can you hull Sea Smoke back over to Dragonstone? What do you think? So yeah, overall, I thought this was a good quality scene. I think Sea Smoke looks really cool. And I think this kind of symbolizes the tides starting to turn for Rhaenyra. And yeah, great intro to the episode. Definitely worth a number 5 spot. But coming up next in the number 4 spot, I'm giving it to Silverwing getting claimed by Ulf. So it's right here when our boy Ulf White wakes up Silverwing, and dude, am I the only one that thinks this is like one of the best designs for a dragon? He's smelling up Ulf and he's scared out of his mind. I think ironically by yielding to Silverwing, showing that submission, but also having that Targaryen blood in him, Silverwing's like, okay, easy yes. You got Targaryen blood and you're obedient to me? Cool, we can work together. We can do something. And that's definitely worthy of a number 4 spot for sure. But up next in the number 3 spot, I'm giving it to when Aemond and Rhaenyra face off in the end. So it's right here. Aemond is just chilling at another small council, but then they all start to hear people saying, oh, dragon, get away, dragon. He goes over to the balcony, and then what does he see? He ends up seeing Silverwing flying around King's Landing. And then he's like, okay, time to go to work. And dude, I love these shots of Silverwing. This is so sick. Look at that wingspan. Look at that tail. And it looks like it's a pretty big size too. And Ulf's just having the time of his life, just going back to the pub he used to hang out to shout out his homies. I mean, look at that, dude. I mean, his name is Silverwing and it has one of the coolest looking designs. Like, I gotta be honest, I'm a little jealous of my boy Ulf. But then Aemond's not wasting any time. He hops on horseback, giddies on up all the way down to where Vhagar is. And so he reaches Vhagar and he's ready for action. He wants to put an end to this ASAP. But here we go. Vhagar is ready for action. He's just roaring, ready for that smoke. But then all of a sudden, Aemond's like, no, Vhagar, not a good idea. But Vhagar still wants that smoke. He wants to go. But then Aemond's like, no, flee, Vhagar, flee. We gotta go. And then Aemond looks back and what do we see? Ooh, that final shot of Rhaenyra with the big Bronze Fury, Vermithor, and Syrax and Silverwing. What a shot to end the episode with. She's just looking at him like, yeah, try something. Try something. And I wonder, are we going to see Vermithor fight in the finale? I really hope so. But coming up next in the number 2 moment, I'm giving it to when Daemon is negotiating with the River Lords. This is essentially the moment we've been waiting for with Daemon this entire season. He's finally able to start negotiating with the new Lord Paramount, young Oscar Tully. Starts off by saying, you have a decision to make. I assume it's clear what the right one is. But Oscar's like, yo, forgive me, but you've kind of made a mess here. You know, all those barbarities you allowed happen with the Blackwoods. Not the best look. But Daemon kind of confronts him and he's like, yo, what side are you on, little man? But he explains that House Tully swore an oath to King Viserys, so they recognize the authority of his named heir, Rhaenyra, and he, Daemon, as their king consort. And he's like, good, then we should go and face your vassals and get these banners and get our army, right? And Oscar's like, well, that's going to be a little difficult because Number one, I don't know if they're going to take me seriously for me being this young. And oh yeah, by the way, number two, they all kind of hate you. But Daemon's like, I don't need their love. I just need their swords. Then they get Simon coming in being like, yo, they've been waiting long enough. You guys got to talk to them. Then they do this kind of epic little walkout together. Just love the cool tracking shot of them going out into the Godswood. I don't know. I'm a sucker for tracking shots like this, and they do it again in the number one moment. He says, you've been summoned here to renew your fealty, and as your bannerman, answer his call. Yeah, he did swear fealty to me, so what's the answer to that call gonna be? But the other River Lords are not having it. They're all blaming the Blackwood guy for causing all this inner turmoil. Then Oscar Tully has to kind of negotiate with them and be like, yo, I hear you guys, and you know, what the Blackwoods did was really bad. And I have no love for Daemon Targaryen personally, but he says, just because I don't really like Daemon doesn't mean I shouldn't uphold the oaths that my grandfathers have been holding up. Then it's at this point, this old lady is like, you know what, Oscar, fine, but the old ways call for justice to be done. And then this is when Oscar kind of looks at him and he's like, bruh, I appreciate everything you do. Unfortunately, you did take things a little bit too far. So here's the thing, I appreciate it, but I'm gonna have to let you go. Oscar says, it is true that Daemon made clear his desires, but you did not have to pursue such savagery. You did it because you wanted to. And everyone around him is like, dang right he did. They say, seize him. He's like, yo, let me go. But it's at this point, Oscar says, if his grace wishes to show contrition for his acts and to prove himself deserving of our banners and our army, he must rectify his grievous error and expense justice. So Daemon's like, wait, a chance to prove myself and to get my army? Say less. And then just gets to action, gets his sword out, doesn't even hesitate. He's like, I can end this right now with just a stroke of my sword. Shink! Done. Yeah, I just think overall the negotiation scenes plus this dream scene just all worked really well together. It's all so well written and so well acted, and it was really unexpected. I wasn't expecting Blackwood to get executed. I wasn't expecting another Viserys scene, and I love the brotherly little duo they have. They just work very well off each other. So I'm just glad that we're finally getting payoff for Daemon plot wise as well as character development wise. So that definitely clinches the number 2 spot. But coming up in the number 1 spot, it's the moment we all were waiting for. It's the claiming of Vermithor. It's right here. Rhaenyra is explaining to everyone there is a big dragon that you guys are going to check out. His name's Vermithor. He's the second largest one in the world. He's also called the Bronze Fury. So we'll go to him now. And I was just so hyped. I'm like, let's go. We're finally getting Vermithor up close and personal. Rhaenyra speaks in High Valyrian, come forth Vermithor, and then we start to hear these loud thuds approaching, and dude, this gave me goosebumps. And when the big boy does show up, she's like, yo, Doharas, relax, calm down, big boy. Come here, get a little whiff of me. I'm Targaryen, we're good. And she's actually able to put her hand on his nose, and then they both kind of close their eyes and have this little moment like they're almost reading each other's thoughts, which was kind of weird. But then Vermithor starts to like purr in dragon. I don't know, it kind of sounds like my Keurig when it's like warming up in the morning. And then Rhaenyra has the sexiest looking look-up stare at Vermithor. I'm just wondering, what is she thinking? Is she like kind of picking up the vibes like, oh, I'm ready for a new rider? Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe Vermithor is ready for a new rider and she's just like, oh, okay, cool. We're on the same page. That's just a theory. Then Rhaenyra is like, who among you will be first? And then we get this guy stepping up to the plate and she's like, you know what? Okay, dude, go first. I'm gonna just let the dragons handle things from here, and I'm gonna go up to my safe house and just kind of watch from above and, you know, have fun, guys, have fun. Yeah, big old Vermi starts sniffing out the crowd and kind of getting a little vibe check of the room. Everyone seems pretty scared. Then Vermithor kind of comes back, kind of makes eye contact with Hugh Hammer, and then he just kind of goes, yeah, you guys are all right. There was one guy who has potential, but as far as you go, pal, I'm thinking no. And yeah, unfortunately, there is a pretty big bonfire that starts to happen. And I did think the sound effect for Vermithor's fire breathing was pretty tough. Ulf gets knocked off the edge into the dragon pit, and Vermie's just popping off. Ulf is trying to lead these people away from him, and dude, it's like a monster movie, kind of like a Godzilla or something. Like, everything is just going crazy. And at this point, Rhaenyra is just like in shock. She's like watching all these people die. And then there's like a little violin that starts to play in the background and kind of pans out on her. And I wonder if it's like kind of hinting a little bit of a Mad Queen vibe in her. Like, maybe there is a part of her that likes watching this. I don't know. I was getting little suspicious vibes off of that. I don't know. It was interesting to see. But then all of a sudden we got this dude just drop down on fire right in front of him. And then here we go. We got the other tracking, following shot of Hugh Hammer. Then Hugh has this woman behind the rock and he's trying to protect her and, you know, not have her obviously get torched. But dude, Vermithor is so big and he's on the prowl. He's hungry. He's eating them deep fried. But this definitely gave me some Jurassic Park vibes, like trying to hide and be low key with the velociraptors hunting him. But then all of a sudden Vermithor turns around. He's like, yo, where you think you're going? Chops right down on him and they're able to somehow dodge that in time. But then Hugh sees that this lady is about to just be done for. So he's like, here I am. And then Vermie just starts roaring at him and they have this little face off here, which I thought was so sick. And it's right here. Hugh says, I'm ready. And he's just pretty much embracing his soon-to-be eventual death here. And he's like, come on. And I thought that was pretty tough. Like, I think when Vermithor heard him just yell that, come on, he was just like, you know what? Okay. You're fearless, you're bold, and you know what? You kind of smell like this one guy I used to know. Why not? Hey, hop on, let's go for a ride. You're coming home with me. So yeah, I just thought this was the hands down most epic moment. And then we get Rhaenyra's theme playing with the shot of her and she's just like, who is this guy? I have no idea, but let's freaking go. I just got the biggest dragon on my side. The scales are now in my favor, baby. Let's go. I just think that's hands down the #1 coolest moment. The tracking shots, the whole epic monster movie, Godzilla kind of vibes with Jurassic Park, and the fact that Hugh Hammer just faces him down and won the respect of the biggest, baddest dragon. So that's definitely the biggest, baddest moment of the episode. That is going to be it for the video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to chill out and trust in the one who's above. He's got your back when no one else does. Take care of yourselves and each other. Peace out.